Black holes. We all have a picture in our minds, right? These giant cosmic vacuum cleaners just lurking out there in the dark, gobbling up everything that gets too close. But what if that's only half the story? What if these cosmic monsters are hiding a secret, a purpose so profound it actually shaped our entire existence? We're going to dig in and find out what's really going on.
Because that's the real question we need to ask. Are black holes really the universe's ultimate wrecking crew, or could they be its master builders? The answer, it turns out, is hiding in the deepest, oldest corners of space, and trust me, it's going to completely change the way you look at the night sky.
Okay, so to find that answer, first we have to face the monster head-on. We need to understand the absolutely terrifying reputation that black holes have and why they've earned it.
And let's be clear, it's a reputation that is well-deserved. I mean, our own galaxy, the Milky Way, is crawling with millions of these things. These are the collapsed corpses of giant stars, silently hunting in the dark, just feeding on any star or planet that happens to drift too close. Yeah, they are the stuff of cosmic nightmares.
But here's the thing. Those stellar mass black holes, they're just local predators. As astronomers started peering deeper and deeper into the universe, they found a totally different kind of beast, the supermassive black hole, an object with a size and power that's almost impossible to imagine. And this, right here, is where our mystery truly begins.
So to understand these giants, we kind of have to become cosmic detectives. And our very first clue comes from the Hubble Space Telescope, which is amazing because it lets us look back in time and see the universe as it was actually being built.
And what Hubble showed us was, well, it was fascinating. On the left, you've got the universe we see today, full of these grand, beautiful, orderly spiral galaxies, kind of like our own. But on the right, that's the early universe. It was a total mess, a chaotic jumble of small, irregular, cluttered galaxies. So the question is, how do we get from that cosmic mosh pit to the elegant cosmos we see now?
Well, all the evidence seems to point to this idea, something called the hierarchical model. The universe, it seems, was built from the bottom up. You start with those small, messy galaxies, the cosmic building blocks. Then gravity pulls them together, they collide and merge over billions of years, and voila, you get the larger, more structured galaxies we know and love today. But this brings up a huge question. Was gravity the only thing at work here? Or was there something else orchestrating this whole grand construction project? Our next big clue didn't come from a structure, but from a light, an impossibly bright beacon shining all the way from the dawn of time, a messenger from just after the Big Bang. This beacon is called a quasar, and what's so incredibly strange about them is that all this intense light, it isn't coming from stars. Nope. It's coming from a single, tiny point right at the heart of a very, very young galaxy. A single point that outshines the entire galaxy around it. Now, to generate that much light, the object at the center of one of these quasars had to have the mass of, get this, at least 1 billion suns. Let that sink in. 1 billion. That is just a mind-boggling scale. And there's only one thing in the entire universe that can pack that much power into such a tiny space. Yup. The culprit was a supermassive black hole, furiously feeding on all the gas and dust around it. But this discovery just created an even bigger mystery. Remember, these quasars were seen in the early universe. How on earth did a black hole get that massive that quickly? It just didn't seem possible. Okay, to solve this, we have to go back to the origin story. We have to rewind all the way to the very first stars that ever existed to figure out how you build one of these cosmic giants from scratch. So the leading theory is that they all started as these first-generation stars. They were formed from nothing but pure hydrogen and helium, the raw materials of the early universe. And they were absolutely colossal. We're talking hundreds of times more massive than our sun. They burned incredibly hot, lived fast, and died young, collapsing after just a few million years. And in that collapse, they planted the seeds for the very first black holes. You can think of these first stars as cosmic pressure cookers. Deep in their cores, gravity was so intense it started fusing lighter elements into heavier ones. It was here that the universe's very first oxygen, silicon, and eventually iron were created. But iron was a dead end. Once the core started making iron, the fusion engine just stopped. With nothing left to push outwards, the core collapsed under its own immense weight, and boom, a black hole was born. And these newborn black holes found themselves in the perfect nursery to grow up big and strong. Computer simulations show us that the early universe was structured like this vast cosmic web.
Gravity was funneling huge streams of gas and even entire baby galaxies into these dense knots and filaments. And it was right there, at those cosmic intersections, that the black holes had an all-you-can-eat buffet. They feasted, they merged, and they grew at a truly terrifying rate.
Okay, so now we see how these giants got so big, so fast. But this leads us to a central paradox. And it's really the final, most important part of our story. The secret of their grand design.
I mean, really think about it. If these things are so unbelievably hungry, growing to billions of times the mass of the sun by consuming everything in sight, what stops them? Why don't they just keep eating and eating until their entire host galaxy is just gone? The answer to that question is the key to everything.
You see, as matter gets pulled toward the black hole, it doesn't just fall straight in like water down a drain. Instead, it forms this huge, spinning structure called an accretion disk. And this disk acts like a cosmic generator. The friction and the magnetic forces inside it heat up the matter to millions of degrees, creating one of the brightest objects in the entire universe. So what you have is this epic cosmic battle going on. At the same time, the gravity is relentlessly pulling matter in. The incredible energy from that spinning disk launches these powerful jets of matter out. They are not one-way streets. Black holes give back. They blast tremendous amounts of energy material back out into the surroundings. And this outflow? This is the architect's blueprint. By pushing back, the black hole actually regulates its own growth and the growth of its entire galaxy. It heats up the gas clouds to keep too many stars from forming all at once. And those jets, they carry the heavy elements that were forged in stars far and wide, distributing the raw materials needed for new stars, new planets, and, yeah, eventually for life itself. So in the end, they're not just destroyers, are they? They're sculptors. They are locked in this incredible cosmic dance between creation and destruction, with gravity pulling in and energy pushing out. And through this amazing balance, these strange, powerful objects have become so much more than monsters. They have become the master architects of space and time.